Welcome to Biff's Mystery Theater. I have many tales to tell you. Ghost stories, murder stories, and tales that will make your bones chill. Join me, won't you? For Theater of the Mind, where you always have the best seat in the house. Now close your eyes and turn off the lights.
Come in. Welcome. I'm E.G. Marshall. There is a distinction between assassination and murder, though both end in the victim's death. An assassin generally kills a political figure or prominent person for a cause or notoriety, not revenge, not money. He is an optimist who appoints himself judge and jury and is generally an ordinary person. We meet one today who killed an American president.
What am I being accused of? Not deceit, sir, but ambition. I was ambitious to know your niece, Anna. I was ambitious to meet you, her uncle. And I am ambitious to make the law my career. To all that I do plead guilty.
Charles Guiteau, I see in you the makings of an excellent trial lawyer. I wish you good night. Good night, Anna.
Good night, Uncle.
Now, where were we?
You were magnificent, Charles.
It was nothing.
Our mystery drama, Portrait of an Assassin, was written especially for the Mystery Theater by James Agate, Jr. and stars John Lithgow and Patricia Elliott. I'll be back shortly with Act One. Some said he was a visionary. Some said he had delusions, but that there was value in his beliefs. But the means he used to benefit his country proved he was a misfit. Put a man on the scales. If he is in balance, the world gains. But if his purpose outweighs judgment, he is not a man, but a beast. How does such a man become what he is? Charles Guiteau, the assassin of President Garfield, started life with a golden rule, which somehow became tarnished along the way.
Last night, I had the first good night's sleep since I'd made up my mind to kill him. I slept like a baby, woke up refreshed, feeling fine. It's all because I was successful. Yesterday, I shot the President of the United States, and I know he's going to die.
Charles?
Yes? Who is it?
It's me, Moreland Finley.
Finley. You came after all.
I'm an attorney. We've known each other a long time. You might as well have someone you know represent you. All right, guard. You may lock me in with the prisoner. Now, suppose we begin at the beginning, Charles. You tell me all about it. All about it.
Finley, have you talked to Anna?
Your wife?
My ex-wife. Have you talked to her?
No, I haven't. Not recently.
You should. You should. Anna, why did you? Why?
Are you saying, Charles, your ex-wife, Anna, is implicated in this?
I don't know. If I'd never met her, would I be here?
Was all this her idea? Is that what you're saying?
It was my idea. All mine. She had nothing to do with it.
I want you quietly and reasonably to tell me when you first decided.
How long can we live with tyrants, with injustice?
Charles, do you understand why you're in jail?
Of course. I planned it that way. Finley, I've changed my mind. I don't need a lawyer. It's only a matter of time. Maybe minutes before they'll come for me.
Who?
Why, General Sherman and General Grant and the people. Once everybody hears what I've done, they'll rise up and acclaim me. Don't you understand?
Not quite, Charles.
I have rid the United States of America of its greatest enemy. Removed him. I'm a patriot. So I can accept all this, being placed in a cell overnight. It has to look all according to the books. Did you see the pistol I used?
Yes, I've seen it.
I bought one with a bone handle because I knew it would look better in a museum. Anyway, I don't think I need a lawyer, with all due respect to you, Finley.
Charles, you do. Not everyone will understand that your motive was patriotism.
People are so blind. I'm sorry, I'd offer you a cup of tea or coffee, but I'm not in my own house.
Did you ever have a house of your own?
Oh, certainly. I didn't always live in rooming houses. To look at me now in this bedraggled condition, you'd never believe I had a house, a wife, an excellent position in an attorney's office, Humphrey and Walters in Chicago. You probably heard of them. Yes, I had a house and a wife, Anna. Oh, Anna.
Tell me about Anna.
I'm trying to remember. Was it 12 years ago? Was it really that long ago?
Tell me about Anna.
I met Anna. We met at the... Where was it? The Y. Yeah, the YMCA in Chicago. 12 years have gone. She was working in the library in the YMCA. How pretty she was.
Yes, can I help you?
Do you have a copy of Blackstone's commentaries? I can't find it in the stacks anywhere.
Blackstone... I'm not sure. I don't believe we have.
Sir William Blackstone, you must have. Why, he's the Bible for jurists.
Are you an attorney?
Yes, I am. I'm with Humphrey and Walters here in Chicago. I guess I'll have to look elsewhere.
Oh, I wish I could be of help to you, Mr.
My name's Charles Guiteau. That's French.
French? You speak English very well.
Well, I've traveled a great deal. One picks up things. I also speak German.
Oh, I don't speak any languages. It's a defect I'm going to correct as soon as I can.
Your parents are...
That's the problem. They both died not very long ago, and I'm living with my uncle. He's a very well-known lawyer, too.
Isn't that a coincidence? I beg your pardon, miss, but, what did you say your name was?
Anna. Anna Bunn. Bunn.
Anna. That's interesting. I've made quite a study of names. Do you know what Anna means?
No, I don't. I never thought about it.
I must tell you sometime. An unusual name.
No, it's not.
But then you're an unusually attractive young person. A great deal is revealed in a name.
I'm sorry about the Blackstone. I wish I could have helped you.
Perhaps, Miss Bunn, there is something you could do for me.
There is?
May I have the honor of calling on you this evening at your uncle's residence?
Uncle Ted, I met the most peculiar man today in the library. I mean peculiar nice. He's coming to call on me this evening.
What?
Tonight? Here? Call on you? Who is he? You just met this man in the YMCA?
He's an attorney with Humphrey and Walters.
Oh, that's one aspect in his favor. What time is he coming?
He said he'd be here at 8. Uncle, you're not angry with me. He'd like to meet you. He really would.
No, child, I'm not angry. I realize you're becoming a woman, and it's, I suppose, quite normal to...
Uncle Ted, do you know what my name means?
Your name? Anna? What Anna means?
He said it was something nice, but I thought maybe you'd know.
Well, there's a great deal an attorney is required to know, but the meaning of people's names is not one of them.
That must be him. And it's 8 o'clock.
Punctuality. An excellent virtue. What is the gentleman's name?
Charles Guiteau.
Anna, you let him in. I have some briefs to prepare. I shall join the both of you in an hour.
I tell you, from nowhere. He did it. Oh, others can do it. James Abram Garfield rose from nowhere. Born in a log cabin, from a common laborer to a college president. It wouldn't surprise me in the least if someday he attained the highest office in the land.
The president?
Because he knows where he's going. Self-improvement. That's the American way, and it's my motto, Anna. May I call you Anna, Miss Bunn?
Well, I suppose so. Although I don't know what my uncle would say.
Oh, he's an attorney, you told me. I'm sure he looks ahead. Besides, we're almost into the 20th century, 1868. Don't you feel the magic of those numbers? I voted for Ulysses S. Grant, and he became president. 1868. What a year this is. Did you hear that a tremendous meat packing company opened a big plant here in Chicago? Progress. The American way.
Oh, you have a great many facts at your fingertips, Mr. Guiteau.
Oh, but they're not as delicate as yours, Anna.
Oh. What legal work do you do, Mr. Guiteau?
You may call me Charles.
You were going to tell me what my name meant.
So I was. Anna means the graceful one. A magic name for beauty walking.
Oh, my goodness.
The shoe fits like Cinderella's slipper.
And Charles, your name, what does it mean?
Charles comes from the Latin Carolus, and it means strong and manly.
And it also means spurious, deceitful, and false. I suggest, Mr. Guiteau, as you take up your hat, walk yourself to the front door and let yourself out of this house.
Let me explain.
No, there's nothing to explain. I happen to know Judge Walters as an old friend and neighbor. I saw him just now, and he informed me that although you're employed in his legal firm, it is not as an attorney, but as a clerk. Do you hear that, Anna? A clerk.
Sir, I ask again that I be permitted a few words.
Go ahead. Keep them brief.
I admit I passed myself off as an attorney to your niece, but the circumstances are extenuating, sir. I was not lying to her, per se, because I always think of myself as an attorney. It has been my life's ambition. Not deceit, sir, but ambition. I was ambitious to know your niece better. I was ambitious to meet her uncle. I am ambitious to make the law my career. And to that, and that alone, I plead guilty.
Guiteau, I see in you the makings of an excellent trial lawyer. I wish you good night. Anna, when Mr. Guiteau leaves, make certain all the gas is turned down. Well, good night, sir. Come see us again. Good night, Anna.
Good night, Uncle Ted.
Now, where were we?
Oh, you were magnificent.
Oh, it's nothing.
Uncle Ted is right. You are going to do very well.
Well, of course I am. I don't need him to tell me that.
You could tell everything about you when you spoke. You really are the most interesting man I've ever met.
And you're the loveliest lady I have ever met. Why do you work in that library, Anna? Surely your uncle...
Well, yes, he could take care of me easily, but I want to work. I want to learn. I want to do something.
I think we're very much alike. I hope we can become good friends.
I would like that.
You really think I made a good impression?
On Uncle Ted? Oh, I know when he's pleased, particularly when he takes a firm stand and then finds himself persuaded against his initial judgment. He liked you, Charles.
I'll make myself worthy of his friendship and his endorsement.
What do you mean?
When I take my bar examination, one word from an attorney of his standing, and I'll be able to hang out my own shingle in 6 months.
Like the pieces of a puzzle, those making up the portrait of Charles Guiteau are beginning to fit together. But like all men who believe so strongly in themselves, who have no friends but themselves, they are their own worst enemy. The paths of Anna and Charles have come together. Will they run parallel or cross? I shall return shortly with Act 2. Charles Guiteau, 39 years old, sits in Washington's District of Columbia jail. The morning after, he has fired 2 bullets into the back of President James Garfield. His attorney, Moreland Finley, is questioning Guiteau, trying to put together a case for the defense.
And did your wife's uncle intercede with the bar examiner on your behalf?
Of course he did. And I became a lawyer. Not that I wouldn't have anyway.
It didn't occur to you that having your wife's uncle put in a word for you was not exactly the proper way to pass an examination?
It was my character he endorsed, not my ability. Finley, wake up. That's the way things are done. This is America. You scratch my back, I'll scratch yours.
I don't understand.
Anna's Uncle Ted was glad to get rid of her. I was an excellent prospect for marriage. By helping me, he was ensuring his niece's future. And I was a good husband. I did everything I could until... I despise her now. Marrying Anna was the biggest mistake I ever made.
She has asked to see you.
Here? In jail? I won't allow it. I want to have nothing to do with her.
If that's so, Charles, why did you marry her?
Because I married Anna because I loved her. That was then.
Want to tell me about it?
I remember the very day. It was a year after we'd married. Anna? Anna, I'm home. Anna, where are you? Anna, what are you doing lying on the bed in your bathroom? We're supposed to be going out tonight to celebrate.
We are? Celebrate what?
Anna, what's the matter with you? It's our first anniversary. We've been married a whole year. Well, you know that. Come on now, honey. Get dressed. I've got a table reserved for us at the Wisteria.
Charles, Mr. Tupper, the landlord was here.
What, again? I told him last week I'd start paying him back what we owed him and not to worry about it.
Charles, he says if he doesn't get the past 6 months' rent by Friday, he's going to evict us.
Oh, just let him try. After all, I'm a lawyer. I know the law. Wait till I show you the snazzy suit I bought in your honor to celebrate our anniversary. I told the salesman, never mind the box. I'll be wearing this suit in half an hour. Feel that material, honey. The latest thing, Cheviot. Now, you get dressed.
How did you pay for it?
I I charged it.
How are you going to pay for the dinner?
Just put my John Hancock on the check. They know me at the Wisteria. They're thinking of hiring me as their attorney.
I'm sorry, I don't feel well, Charles, and I don't want to go there. We mustn't run up any more bills.
All right, then. I'll go get a bottle of wine. Put it in the icebox, and we'll celebrate here. Tell you what, you order what you want, and I'll make dinner for us. I'll cook it.
On what?
On our stove, of course. Anna, what's the matter with you? Don't you think I can cook?
Charles, they came today, and they took the stove away.
Who did?
Bradford's, where we bought it, and they took the icebox away, too. Oh, Charles, how long is this going to go on?
Well, I'm having a little hard time getting established. Be patient.
But you spent everything we saved. Everything Uncle Ted gave me when we married. New suits, dinners out. Oh, Charles, we have to be careful.
You've given me an idea. Your uncle. When he gets back from his vacation, I'll ask him to advance us something. I've never asked him for a penny. Your uncle owes you something. Well, he owes me something, too. I took you off his hands. So the least he could do...
What did you say?
Well, a couple of $100 is the very least he could do, and he won't even feel it.
You took me off his hands?
A figure of speech, more or less.
No, I won't.
Anna, don't make me angry. I'll tell him about the account I'll have, the Wisteria restaurant. Just a couple of $100. Enough to get old Tupper off our backs.
Oh, Charles, what does the restaurant want a lawyer for?
To collect from all those people who signed for their meals and haven't paid up. I'm the ideal attorney for them. Now, how to celebrate. I've got it. Don't get dressed. Stay as you are. Your hair in a mess, just the way it is. Go downstairs and knock on Tupper's door. Tell him you're so ashamed. You've spent all the household money and you wanted to buy me an anniversary present. Can he loan you $20? We're already into him for 6 months. What's another 20? Then we can go out, have ourselves a whale of a time, and it's all paid for. Stop crying.
I'm so ashamed. Having to leave Chicago like this and not telling anyone.
We didn't have to leave. I decided New York City would be a better opportunity.
To be locked out of our rooms, Charles, it was so shameful.
Old Tupper didn't reckon with me, did he? There he is, having dinner, and I'm up in our rooms right under his nose, quietly taking away all our own things and hauling it off in that hired express wagon.
Charles, when we get to New York, where are we going to stay?
The best hotel we can find. You have to look prosperous in New York. Success must be written all over you. Nobody looks twice at failure.
You know, Charles, I think you should try politics. You'd be very good at it.
You think so? I agree. Politics. Attach myself to a meteor, and as he blazes through the sky, so shall I.
But how will you know who to follow?
Well, there's a presidential election coming up. There's a man running on the Democratic and Liberal ticket. Horace Greeley. Horace, from the Latin, Horatius. Light of the sun. That's my man. I want to stand in that light. Work for Greeley. That's the road to success.
Charles, you mustn't fail now.
I won't. Why now?
Well, because, Charles, we're going to have a baby.
A baby? Anna, darling, you're going to have a baby. I'm going to have a baby.
It's a dream come true. Did that ever happen to you, darling? All of a sudden, a dream come true?
No, never. Just the opposite in my life. Until now.
So, you see, things change. Now we'll have a baby.
It would be wonderful.
It will be wonderful.
If I don't get dealt another hand from the bottom of the deck.
Oh, don't be so pessimistic, silly.
You're right, Anna. Go on, Mr. Engineer. Blow your train whistle for New York. Success and our baby. Anna, come on, follow me. We climb out this window and walk down the fire escape to the street.
I can't. I'm afraid it's so high.
What are you talking about? The whole hotel is only 5 stories high, and we're on the 3rd floor.
I can't go out there, Charles. I can't.
So what do we do? Wait till morning, till they take everything away from us? Anna, are you going to stand in the way of my becoming an important politician in New York? Now, come on.
You, an important politician. Nobody knows you exist. It's the same old story. We run up bills, we can't pay the rent, and have no money because you have no job.
No, I don't have a mere job. I have a position with the Republican Party. I speak at rallies for Horace Greeley.
But you never told me that.
Well, now I have. If anyone in the party finds out we had to take a moonlight flit, I can kiss my future goodbye. Now, just step over the windowsill. I've got the bag.
I can't.
Anna!
You hit me.
I'm sorry I slapped you. You try the patience of a saint. Now do it. Follow me down one step at a time.
All right. I'm coming.
Oh, my darling Anna. It's so good to see a smile on your face. You see, this rooming house is quite cozy. I hope they fixed the loose step.
I told them again, but I'm careful. I step over it. I don't mind, and neither does he.
You mean our son?
Oh, I'm sure it'll be a boy. Oh, he kicks so hard.
I was telling Mr. Greeley about the baby today. I said to him, Mr. Greeley, I'm working as hard as I can for you to get elected because I want my son to be kissed by the President of the United States. Mr. Moleman, would you slow up this trolley when you get to 22nd Street? That's where I have to get off. I said, could you slow up, please? Slow down the trolley. I'm running my cane through the front glass window. I told you to slow. You refused. I am Charles Guiteau, a prominent member of the Republican Party. My wife is ill. I have a message to get home as quickly as possible, and you are hindering me. I shall report you to the authorities. Out of my way, woman! Can't you see I want to get to the door?
Are you Charles Guiteau?
Yes, I am.
I'm Mrs. Hager, the midwife.
The midwife? Did you come to see Mrs. Guiteau? Has she delivered her baby?
Mr. Guiteau, sit down. Here, on the steps, next to me.
But I want to go up and see my wife.
There's time for that. She's resting, comfortably.
Then you saw her?
I've been with her, yes.
Well, we didn't expect a baby for another month. Is Anna all right?
She's all right, but she lost the baby.
What?
Yes, your wife fell down the steps.
Oh, Lord.
Now, you sit here on the stoop and try to gather yourself together.
She fell down the stairs. It was that loose step.
She's very brave, your wife is. She'll be fine.
Why me? Why me? Why is everything visited on me? You ask yourself, Anna, what does it all mean? First, our baby, who isn't even born. Then Horace Greeley, one of the greatest men who ever lived. He's defeated, and in 3 weeks, he's dead. Everything I touch withers away, dies. Everything that has meaning.
Charles, one must go on. You've been dragging yourself around for weeks now. Charles, what are we going to live on?
I don't care. I never had a dream come true.
And you said no, never?
I said I didn't believe in dreams coming true. Something always deals you a bad hand from the bottom of the deck.
Oh, I can't stand it when you go on and on like that. I'm so tired of hearing you moaning and groaning around the house every day. I thought I was marrying a man.
You didn't choose me, Anna. Do you think I would have looked at you twice if your uncle hadn't been a prominent attorney and could give me a leg up?
What makes you say such hateful things, Charles? You loved me and I loved you.
Is it all in the past tense? Has it all passed?
That's up to you, isn't it?
If one could look deeply behind the mask that hides our suffering, we might have an inkling of what compels certain inexplicable actions. We shall look further at Charles Guiteau, driven by ambition, seemingly cursed by the fates, a man who, in spite of himself, turned history upside down, when I return shortly with Act 3. The records show that from this time on, Charles' wife, Anna, began to fear for her life. She was afraid her husband was losing his mind, that he had little control over his actions. Each day brought new delusions and new terrors.
Anna, did you kill our baby?
Charles!
I'm not mad, you know, nor am I blind. Did you deliberately walk on that loose step because you didn't want us to have the baby? Yeah, you did it on purpose, didn't you?
I can't stand to listen to this anymore. I'm leaving until you come to your senses.
You're going nowhere.
Let go. You're hurting my arm.
You will leave when I tell you to leave. I'm your master. Do you understand that?
Yes, Charles.
You will do as I say.
Yes, Charles.
That's better. I've decided to go to Washington.
Yes, Charles.
If Greeley had lived, I would have been his minister to Chile. You know that, don't you?
I know that, Charles.
Well, that's why I decided to remain in New York.
You said Washington.
I said no such thing. I said New York. I shall open an office downtown to collect bad debts. I shall become wealthy. Then, with that money, I'll return to politics. And I expect to find you here when I do, Anna. I've been thinking, Anna. I've never put the finger on your uncle. If I wrote him, do you think he might be able to advance us a little money?
I'm sorry, Mr. Finley. My husband isn't home, but I expect him pretty soon, if you'd like to wait.
Mrs. Guiteau, your husband has rented space from our legal firm down on Liberty Street. We gave him a desk from which to conduct his business. This is rather embarrassing.
You sure you won't have some tea, Mr. Finley? Charles ought to be home soon.
No, thanks. Since you and I have never met, have my card. Wallen Finley, attorney. Your husband isn't in New York, Mrs. Guiteau. Not at this moment.
Oh, I was afraid so. I'll be honest with you. I haven't seen him in 4 days.
You see, over the weekend, Charles managed to have the desk he was using removed from our building. We traced it to a used furniture dealer to whom he sold it.
Are you sure?
Unfortunately, yes. He told the dealer all he wanted it for was to have enough money to get him to Washington.
Charles, how stupid.
I'm sorry, Mrs. Guiteau. Obviously, you know nothing about any of this. I can see that your problem with your husband is far greater than ours with the stolen desk.
Oh, Mr. Finley, I'm afraid. And I'm alone, really. I had an uncle, but he just died. I just found out today. I don't know whom to turn.
Well, let me help. Sooner or later, your husband will come back to New York, and I'll have a talk with him.
Something's happened to him in just the past year. I don't know him anymore. He acts as though the whole world owes him a living. More than that he should be recognized and famous.
Perhaps Charles isn't well.
I don't know.
You will forgive me, Mrs. Guiteau, for a personal observation. Are those bruises on your arms and on your face?
Yes.
I think it's you who needs to be protected. And when I see Charles, I'm going to tell him so.
Finley. I'm sorry you're upset about the desk. Of course, I'll pay for it. It was the weekend. I needed the fare to Washington. I couldn't reach you. I mean, what else could I do? You knew I was good for it.
I went to see your wife, Charles.
Oh, did you? I haven't seen her yet myself. I came right down to the office from the train. She's in for another shock, I'm afraid. Her uncle passed away. I learned that while I was in Chicago.
I thought you said you went to Washington.
By way of Chicago. I wanted to see Uncle Ted first. I was too late. Not a dime.
What do you mean?
He didn't leave us a dime, and not anyone. Didn't have a dime. An illness took everything. Now, Finley, if you can wait just a few days, I will pay you for the desk. In the meantime, do you have another one I could use?
I don't know that we ought to do that.
But all my stationery is printed giving 96 Liberty as my address. I have to run. I've been gone a week, and Anna will be worried. But she'll be happy when I tell her I've got excellent prospects for a political career. Someday, Finley, you'll boast that you rented office space to the Minister of France, Charles Jules Guiteau.
Charles, Anna isn't at the apartment.
She isn't?
I advised her to move out, and she has.
What is all this? Where is she?
Well, I'm sorry, but I can't tell you.
Finley, I will institute proceedings against you, accusing you of kidnapping my wife. I warn you.
Right now, at this instant, you believe you'll file suit, Charles. But you won't carry it through. You may strike a woman, but in a man's world, you're not a man of your word. You're not even a man.
You think so? You don't know me.
I wish I knew what to advise you. You appear to live in a world that doesn't exist.
Does that mean I can't have a desk here?
I'll find some space and a desk. At least that way I can keep an eye on you. Hello, Charles. May I share this bench with you?
Don't talk. The pigeons don't like noise when they're eating.
What do you feed them?
Crumbs and seeds.
It's been a long time. I didn't know you were still in New York.
I have an office uptown.
Doing well?
I was until today. Did you come to crow, Finley?
I don't know what you mean. Have you heard from Anna?
No, why should I? Please don't talk about her.
You hurt her a lot, too.
I was angry at the time when she divorced me. I'm not angry now. Hand me that bag of birdseed next to you, Finley.
If she'd stayed married to you, how would she know you wouldn't get angry again and hurt her?
Because I loved her. But that's all over. Everything's over. Did you see the Herald this morning? James Gordon Bennett's filthy sheet?
No.
You'll enjoy it. Third page headline, a profitable collecting lawyer.
Hey, that's a picture of you. What's this about?
They claim that when I collect money due a client, that I keep everything I collect as my commission.
How did they get this story?
Somebody's out to get me. Ruin my business. Ruin me. I don't know why I should be surprised. It's been that way all my life.
Guard, may I have another 10 minutes with Mr. Guiteau? I'll be finished talking to him then, and you can let me out. That was the last time we met, Charles, in the park in New York when you were feeding the pigeons. Until...
People are so selfish. Somebody has to take care of those birds.
Until this morning here in Washington.
Finley, old friend, do you think you could handle my defense?
It depends on what I can prove. There's no question but that you shot President Garfield yesterday morning at the Baltimore and Potomac Railroad Station.
It was the only way to save the country.
How did you come to decide that?
When Greeley lost, I wanted Garfield to be elected, so I worked for him. I wrote pamphlets, cornered politicians, did everything I could. I put in to be a consul or minister to France or Austria, my languages. Garfield owed it to me. I got him elected.
I didn't know you spoke those languages.
I deserved that. Most of those appointments go to friends who couldn't find those countries on the map. So every day I'd go to the White House and leave a message to remind the president I wanted one of those jobs.
Did he know you?
Of course he knew me. It had been me stumping for him, speaking everywhere. There isn't a street corner from here to New York I didn't speak at. Finley. I swung that vote. And then, about 6 weeks ago, Garfield betrayed me. He betrayed all of us. I'd gone, as usual, to the White House.
Good morning, Mr. Guiteau.
Did you pass my message of yesterday in to the president?
I took care of it. You know, the president is very busy.
You don't have to tell me. I know how time-consuming the affairs of state can be. He and I have often joked about it.
You've talked to the president?
Well, not recently. I knew Jim and his family back in Ohio. Did you know he was born in a log cabin?
No, Mr. Guiteau, I didn't.
Born in Orange, in Cuyahoga County, Ohio. We were neighbors. He ought to make his decision about who is to be the next minister to Austria pretty soon.
Minister to Austria? You told me France yesterday.
I did? France wouldn't be much of a hardship. But I've written him I plan to marry a very wealthy Austrian lady so that we can entertain in high style in Vienna. That's important, you know.
Mr. Guiteau, I've been asked to ask you not to come to the White House anymore.
I don't understand.
Orders have been given from a very high level. It's not my doing that you're not to be admitted through the gates after today.
It's incredible. Why, I put Garfield into the White House. It was my pamphlets, my speeches. You know he won by a very narrow margin, and it was I, Charles Jules Guiteau, who got him elected.
I'm sorry, sir. I didn't know that. Now, if you'll excuse me.
I left the White House and went to my rooms. What should I do? That night, for the first time, I heard a voice. Kill Garfield. Kill Garfield. Kill him. Kill him. It was the only answer. Rid the country of that man. Remove him permanently from office. Now I knew. After 39 years of wondering why I'd been placed on this earth, I knew why. I suddenly had a meaning. I, Charles Jules Guiteau, had but one purpose in life, and that was to save the Republic.
The past and the present tell us we are at the mercy of those self-appointed saviors who all too often see death as the all-purpose answer. Charles Guiteau, the assassin, had a vision to heal the blindness of sight. Unhappily, it was he who was blind. I shall return shortly.
What in the world happened in December? Brought to you by your local Navy recruiter. In December 1775, the first flag unfurled aboard an American warship was hoisted by Lieutenant John Paul Jones on board the flagship Alfred at Philadelphia on the occasion of placing the Continental Navy in commission. George Washington resigned his military commission in December of 1783 and retired to his estate at Mount Vernon, Virginia. December 1851, over 30,000 volumes in the Library of Congress were destroyed in a fire. The highest bridge in the world was completed in December 1929. The Royal Gorge Bridge across the Arkansas River in Colorado suspends 1,053 feet over the gorge. In December 1941, Japanese aircraft attacked Pearl Harbor, Hawaii. 6 ships were sunk, 12 damaged, 150 aircraft destroyed, and 2,334 were killed or missing. The surprise attack forced the United States into World War II. That's what happened in December. To find out what's happening in the Navy today, call toll-free 800-841-8000. In Georgia, call 800-342-5855.
There are some who say no man in high office is safe from the assassin's hand. That in this country, the mere fact that one American is exalted above others fuels the fires in the dark minds of fanatics. In that respect, our era might be called uncivilized. Because we of Mystery Theater believe only the clear light of knowledge and understanding can protect society, we have presented this portrait of an assassin and hope someday we can call ourselves civilized. Our cast included John Lithgow, Patricia Elliott, and Robert Dryden. The entire production was under the direction of Hyman Brown. This is E.G. Marshall inviting you to return to our Mystery Theater for another adventure in the macabre. Until next time, pleasant dreams.
Before television, children entertained one another, often with quite gruesome games, like sitting in the dark and answering the question, what's the most horrible thing you can imagine happening to you? The answer usually involved werewolves, vampires, ghouls, and the like. But I've never found such things real enough to be frightening. I believe the question should be rephrased. What's the most horrible thing that could really happen to you?
But they're going to kill me.
Well, I can't help you. I've got nothing to work with.
But you're supposed to be a lawyer.
I'm not a magician.
So, you're just going to let them electrocute me? I'm innocent. Can't you understand that? I'm innocent.
Not anymore.
What do you mean, not anymore?
I mean legally. That's the law, Joe, remember? Innocent until proven guilty.
But I'm not really guilty.
Where's the proof? Proof is 9 points of the law. And on your side, Joe, you don't even have 1 point of proof.
Our mystery drama, The Victim, was written especially for the Mystery Theater by Bryce Walton and stars John Lithgow. I'll be back shortly with Act One. This is my idea of genuine horror. To be somehow proven guilty of murder when you are not. To be locked away in a cold cell, alone, friendless, helpless, waiting to die. How many innocent people have been executed for crimes they never committed? How can such rank injustice happen? Here is how it happened to one man. Here is his story in his own words, as it appeared in the Morning Sun Times.
I'm Joe Thompson. In the headlines now. My picture in the papers and magazines. But before that Monday night, when my nightmare began, I was Mr. Nobody. Going nowhere but on over the hill to the wrong side of 40. Old Joe Average. Divorced. Lonely. Average height. Average build. Average paunch. With the kind of face you'd forget even while you were looking at it. I'd killed another evening in a restaurant and bar. Got home around 12:30 that night. Home. One room with a pull-down bed, a closet-sized kitchen, and a television set that wasn't mine. I'd popped another can of brew and was semi-conscious in front of the TV. And there was a knock at the door.
Is this any way to greet a visitor?
What way? What do you mean?
I mean, half-dressed, hair all messed up? Why, you haven't even taken yourself a shave.
I wasn't planning on having company.
I wouldn't have planned on it either. If I was you, I wouldn't even be at home.
So you should have called first. Hey, what's the idea?
I'm not a fan of early John Wayne. Nothing funny now, just stand against the wall, nice and easy.
Hey, what are you doing?
Risking you for concealed weapons, remember?
That's no weapon, that's my wallet. So keep it. It's empty. This whole scene's empty. Nothing worth taking out of here unless you collect old TV sets. Go ahead, take it. But you'll also have to pick up the payments.
Hold on to your sense of humor, pal. You'll need it.
Hey, what are you doing?
Handcuffing you. That resisting an officer won't help your case either.
What case?
I'll ask the questions.
So who's asking?
Oh, excuse my rudeness. I'm Sergeant Crow. My partner, Officer Wilson, is waiting for us downstairs.
Sergeant, look, you can see in my wallet there. I'm Joe Thompson. You've made some kind of mistake.
You made the mistake, Thompson.
Hey, why throw my clothes around? Well, wait, I've got some rights here. You're a cop. Show me some identity. You barge in here, don't tell me anything. Handcuff me, tear my clothes apart, break things. What about the search warrant? I've got rights.
Didn't you invite me in, Thompson?
I sure didn't.
I say you did.
You're wrong. I didn't.
Oh, I apologize for disturbing your elegant wardrobe, but I got... here they are. You'll need the raincoat and hat.
What for?
We're going out, Thompson. You have an appointment.
But it isn't raining.
We'll take the raincoat and hat anyway, just in case. Let's go.
Go where? Why should I go anywhere?
We're going downtown, Thompson. Police headquarters, Central Station, where you set up the appointment.
I didn't set up any appointment there.
Sure you did. You set it up last Saturday night.
I don't know what you're talking about. I tell you, you got the wrong man.
Then why do you object to cooperating with the police? Where's your civic spirit?
Civic spirit? That's a laugh.
Now, simmer down, Thompson. If you're innocent, you can't object to answering a few questions.
About what?
Hey, this is no place for a serious discussion. We have a place all set up for that downtown. A special private room just for answering questions.
How long have you lived here in Palm City, Mr. Thompson?
About 6 months.
You married?
I was, but my wife thought better of it.
You're adrift.
I wouldn't say that.
Well, how would you classify yourself, then? You don't seem to spend very long in one location.
I'm a carpenter, sir. That's my line of work.
And hasn't a great deal of your work consisted in standing in unemployment lines?
I've put in my time there, yes. But I've got a job now at Larson's Building Supplies on South Street.
You're a carpenter there.
Well, I'm getting close. Work in the lumber yard.
Were you working there last Saturday?
Yeah, that's the big day at Larson's.
How late did you work Saturday?
Until 6.
And what did you do after that?
Why, mostly I guess I just drove around.
Oh, just drove around?
Yeah, I do that a lot. Just doesn't seem to be much else to do.
Cruising?
I wouldn't say that. Just driving, killing time.
Killing time?
Lonely, in a new town, not knowing anyone much.
Do you drive around looking for company?
Maybe. It's always a possibility. But
did you also kill some time in the Shamrock Bar?
Sure, I dropped in there for a few.
To pick up some company?
Well, it could happen. But mostly I just...
what time were you cruising the Shamrock Bar?
I don't know exactly. Like I said, I was there to kill time. Not count it. I had a few. My memory's on the hazy side.
When did you get home from the Shamrock Bar?
Maybe around 2 a.m.
This raincoat and hat, Thompson, they're yours?
Yes, they are.
You went to the Shamrock Bar, then home, huh? Well, where did you get all this mud on your raincoat and hat?
Mud?
Yeah, this reddish clay mud smeared all over it. Where did you pick that up, and when?
I guess I don't... wait, yes, I remember now. I had a flat tire. sure. It's all coming back to me. A blowout.
Mm-hmm.
Had to change a flat there off the road.
Oh, off the road? Where?
Along Jemison Drive somewhere, I think. It was dark, and I couldn't...
Well, if you can't remember where this suddenly remembered convenient flat occurred, maybe you can tell us when.
I can't. No, I can't. Not exactly.
Oh, well, can you remember if it was after or before you cruised the Shamrock Bar?
After, I think.
Mm-hmm. And when do you think?
I think maybe around midnight.
You're Benny Sharp?
For 66 years, sir.
Your occupation, please.
Bartender at the Shamrock since the end of World War II.
Is this man, Mr. Thompson, one of your customers, huh?
Him? Oh, sure. He's in here every Saturday night. That's his name, Thompson?
He was at your bar last Saturday night.
That's right. Leaning over the end there.
Was he wearing this raincoat and hat?
Yeah.
Was the raincoat and hat smeared with this reddish clay mud?
Not that I remember. No, sir.
Well, when did Thompson come into the Shamrock?
About 9:30, I'd say.
When did he leave?
Maybe a little after midnight.
Was the girl Dorothy Logan at the Shamrock Bar Saturday night?
Yeah, she was. She's there just about every night.
And what time did she leave?
Around midnight.
Now, Thompson, do you remember following Dorothy Logan out of the Shamrock Bar a little after midnight Saturday?
I told you, no. I never knew any Dorothy Logan.
Small, slender, 18 years old, dark brown hair, red sweater. You knew her such a short time, maybe you just didn't get around to her name.
I didn't get around to her at all. I never saw her. I never followed any woman out of the Shamrock Bar. I was always careful who followed me out. Where are you taking me now?
Just down the hall here, Thompson. We have a little theater set up down here for our guests.
Little theater?
Right. For bad actors.
You've got to fill me in. What am I supposed to have done? You can tell me that much.
I can tell you what you'd better do. Call yourself a lawyer.
Why? Why do I need a lawyer?
You guys are weird. All sound alike. Who, me? I never did nothing. I'm clean. A lot of you, innocent as babes. Some of you really think you are innocent. That's what's really weird.
I'm not weird. I am innocent.
Here we are, Thompson. Now, just step up here between these two gentlemen. That's right.
What is this?
You're on stage, pal. Let's say you're trying out for a part. And if you get it, you'll be a star performer. Now, just stand up here, straight and natural. That's a ticket.
Now, Miss Travis, please look at the men lined up there. You look at them, study them very carefully. Now, take your time. Now, do you recognize any of them?
I'd rather not, but I do.
Well, have you seen one of these men before?
I sure have. But what I saw wasn't a man, it was an animal.
Would you point out the man you recognize?
That one. Second from the right there.
You have seen him before?
Yes. But what if I hadn't? Look at him. Anybody'd know on first sight he was an animal.
Where and when did you see this man?
In Jonathan's Grove last Saturday night. No, actually it was early Sunday morning.
Now, are you certain? Now, you must be absolutely certain, Miss Travis, that this is the man you saw.
I'm certain, all right. Do you ever forget how a skunk smells? He's the one. He's the killer.
I am sure you've noted the fact that all men are mortal. This is most fortunate, at least for mystery stories, where anyone can be a victim, don't you see? Which is perhaps as it should be in a democracy. For example, anyone at all may be robbed, mugged, murdered, or falsely arrested. It is just a matter of waiting one's turn. Or is it? Joe's story of persecution sounds straightforward and believable enough. Perhaps we shall clear up some disturbing contradictions in Act 2. Joe Thompson's continuing story of persecution as it appeared in the Morning Sun Times rings with undeniable conviction. Joe's been there. He's experienced the nightmare. Joe knows firsthand the depths of terror, the terror of a small and innocent man found guilty of a murder. He's telling it like it is. We believe him. Of course we believe him. But I'm reminded of an old English legend. I know not what the truth may be. I tell the tale as 'twas told to me.
I kept telling them the truth. What else could I tell them but the truth? But nobody believed me. Nobody even bothered to listen. Nobody cared. I was presumed guilty of murder. And who cares about murderers anymore, right? Let's care more about the victims, right? Sure, fine. That's just dandy. I'm on the side of the victim. But I was the victim. They couldn't see that, though. All they could see was Dorothy Logan and the need to nail somebody to the wall.
You followed Dorothy Logan out of the Shamrock Bar Saturday night or early Sunday morning. You lured her into your car, drove her into Jonathan's Grove and back of the tavern. She resisted your advances, and you killed her. You strangled her with those powerful carpenter's hands.
No, I didn't do that. I couldn't have...
No, you're guilty, Thompson. Now confess. Tell us the truth. Make it easier for yourself and for all of us.
But I'm telling the truth. I never knew any Dorothy Logan. Never saw her, never followed her, never followed anybody. I sure never killed anybody.
Evidence, witnesses, and testimony at this homicide court hearing strongly indicates the contrary, Mr. Thompson. And that will be all for now.
This way, please, Mr. Thompson. I'll show you to your room.
Thanks, Sergeant. Even set up a reservation.
Here we are. Sorry, we have nothing with a view.
How about a mattress?
Mattress will be along. No mattress cover or bed sheets, though.
Why not?
Some of our guests have hanged themselves.
Wait. Please listen. Believe me, somebody has to. I didn't kill that girl. I couldn't kill anybody.
No one in here has ever been guilty. No one's ever killed anybody. But himself. Sure is weird.
Oh, forget it. So what's next on the law and order program?
Well, your case goes to the grand jury, and like I said, you better get yourself a lawyer.
I can't. I told you that. I can't afford any lawyer.
Well, then I hate to tell you this, but you'll be assigned a public defender, a second or maybe third-year law student hoping to learn something, maybe pick up some experience. And what you're getting is a born loser named of Hal Mark.
Hi, Joe. How you feeling?
You'd be Hal Mark.
Right on. I've been assigned to your defense. How you holding up, Joe?
I feel better in traction. I'm climbing the walls in here. You've got to get me out.
Yeah. Well, Joe, we've got a problem.
No kidding. I've got the problem. I've never done anything wrong, and they want to kill me.
Now, I know the facts, Joe. Believe me, I know. But I'm not referring to the end, the bottom line of this case. Our hurdle is big and immediate. The grand jury hearing's coming up in just a few days. Now, we aren't prepared. I have here a copy of your homicide court proceeding. Now, I have slept with this report. I've turned it inside out, and it's a hang-up.
If you were a doctor, I'd figure I had terminal cancer.
I got to level with you. There's no evidence here in your favor. Nothing.
You're supposed to find something.
Well, you give me something to work with.
Like what? I didn't kill Dorothy Logan. I wasn't there.
That's it. You see, your word. That's all there is. We have to have some positive evidence, some kind of alibi, witnesses. Okay, like, maybe someone saw you changing that flat tire. Someone stopped to offer a hand. Anything.
And there wasn't anybody. Nobody stopped.
We're just driving around? Who knows? Did you stop for gas somewhere? A filling station attendant?
No, I didn't need any gas.
Oh, boy. You know, I can see just one way out for you, Joe.
Don't tell me.
Plead guilty.
What?
When you go before the grand jury, plead guilty. Throw yourself on the mercy of the court.
Mercy? What mercy? They want to kill me.
I can't help you. I got nothing to work with.
But you're supposed to be a lawyer.
I'm not a magician.
So you're just going to let them electrocute me? I'm innocent. Can't you see? Can you understand that I'm innocent?
Not anymore.
What do you mean, not anymore?
I mean legally. That's the law, Joe, remember? Innocent until proven guilty.
But I'm not really guilty.
Oh, where's the proof? Proof is 9 points of the law. And on your side, Joe, you don't even have 1 point of proof. Now, I'll stick with you to the end. I'll try to dig something up, but...
spare me.
I don't blame you for being uptight, I understand. If I was in your shoes, I'd be shaking in them forever. But you're not getting rid of me. I'll be there at countdown.
So stick around. Take notes while they cut me up. And hope I last until your final exam. Hey, Officer Crow.
Yes, sir.
What was the defendant's attitude on the night you questioned him at his apartment?
Oh, his attitude was very hostile, very uncooperative.
Mm-hmm.
He resisted arrest. He insulted an officer.
What officer? How?
Oh, me, sir. He accused me of not telling the truth.
You found this raincoat and hat in his apartment, huh?
Yes, I did.
Well, have laboratory tests been conducted on his raincoat and hat?
Yes, they have.
What were the results of the analysis?
Well, the mud found all over the raincoat and hat is identical with the mud found on the body of the murder victim, Dorothy Logan.
There's no question. My memory's never failed me in 66 years, and I remember him being in the Shamrock drinking at my bar Saturday night.
And you still remember when he left?
About midnight.
And you still remember when Dorothy Logan left, huh?
About the same time. Maybe a little before. I get a lot of customers on Saturday night.
And when the accused left the Shamrock, you didn't see any mud on his coat and hat?
Not that I remember.
Helen Travis, you said you were parked in Jonathan's Grove Saturday night or early morning, a little after midnight?
Yes, sir. I was parked in there with a friend.
Mm-hmm.
It was after midnight, but I'm not sure of the time. My friend and I were, marveling at the sky, the stars all out.
Mm-hmm.
Such a pretty night for a while.
Will you describe what else you saw that night, Miss Travis? I mean, other than the constellations.
Can't hardly even think about that horrible night, but... Okay, I'll try.
Yeah, well, I thank you, Miss Travis. Please proceed.
Well, we're parked, my friend and me, admiring the heavens, when this beat-up old heap of a car drives in, parks just a ways from us, no more than 50 feet or so. And I couldn't be mistaken about what I seen. I mean, no way. The moon was full and bright and all those stars out. I mean, it was Mr. Thompson's car, all right. I'd know that old heap with a rubbed-out blue color anywhere. He didn't see us, I guess, on account of our car lights not being on, and we're parked in close alongside a mulberry hedge, but I seen him clear enough. The way he came out of that car into the moonlight, dragging that poor girl, and the way she was screaming. We were afraid to go over there and try to help her or anything. I'm ashamed to say it, but we were afraid. But after he drove away, we went over there, and she was dead. And all that blood.
Well, why didn't you report this earlier, Miss Travis? Why wait until Monday to call the police?
We were just too scared, I guess. Afraid to, get involved. But it wouldn't leave us, me, alone. I just kept thinking about that poor girl, and what if it had been me? So I called the police. Describe the man I saw, and his car, and his license number.
How can we fight eyewitness testimony like that, Joe?
You're supposed to find a way.
Oh, can't you come up with something, anything, to show that you were someplace else?
No way. How often does this happen to innocent people?
I can't say. And I wouldn't want to guess, Joe. I am telling you again. Your only chance to save your life is to plead guilty. Throw yourself on the mercy of the court. Hope for a second-degree verdict.
You really think I'd do that? Admit being a murdering fiend when I never hurt anybody?
You're hurting me, man. Let go.
Are you crazy? Is everybody crazy?
Let go! You want to kill me, too?
You too? See? You do believe I'm guilty. You miserable shyster. Why not kill you, too? Why not? I can only fry once. Isn't that the line? I can only fry once.
Well, I am getting out of here. Crazy, man. You are crazy.
Well, you may be right. Yeah. Could be.
Joe, you have got nothing on your side. No witnesses, no alibi, no money. Look, I checked out that Travis dame. She's okay. A waitress at Al's Diner. And that eyewitness account of hers is bad. Real bad. And you've got the whole judiciary system of this town against you.
How's that?
Well, it's corrupt. It's greedy. The DA is ambitious. He wants as many murder convictions as possible because he's going to run for state prosecutor. And what's more, the months of May, June, and July are called the lethal season.
A lethal season?
Yeah. More murders occur during hot summer months. Courts get overloaded with killers. They got to be cleared out as soon as possible.
Yeah, could be it's me. Could be I've lost my marbles.
Are you serious?
Maybe she did see me kill that girl. And I don't remember because I'm some kind of split psycho.
You mean a split personality? A schizo killer like Jekyll and Hyde?
Oh.
Hey, you mean it. You want me to cop an insanity plea?
No. Wait. What if I'm not crazy?
Well, so what? You do a little time in a funny farm and go free.
But it's bad enough already. Being guilty when I'm not. Do I have to go crazy, too? When maybe I'm no crazier than anybody else.
Okay, it's your funeral. But I'd rather be crazy as anything than dead.
If I'm not crazy, what is it? Do I have some fiendish double?
Possibly. But I have to be on my way.
Yeah? Wait. And if I didn't do it, who did?
You're the only one who's going to worry about that.
How long do I have to worry?
Not long.
What happens now?
It's happened. You're indicted for first-degree murder.
The worst criminals among us may become the object of hero worship. As a child, I was emotionally stirred by Billy the Kid and Jesse James. But how times have changed. I can't honestly think of a single present-day murderer I would care to identify with. I certainly wouldn't care to identify with Joe Thompson, whether he's a murderer, a convincing liar, or in fact is, as he insists that he is, an innocent victim. Which reminds me, is any victim entirely innocent? Perhaps we'll find at least some of the answer in Act 3. People still insist on reading newspapers and listening to the news. Most likely because they desperately need to be assured that something, somewhere, is happening to somebody. The misfortunes of others make us feel, by contrast, so much more fortunate than we really are. We can only hope that the ending of Joe Thompson's nightmare story of persecution does not disappoint you.
So I'm found guilty of first-degree murder and put away to die, like a bug in a killing bottle. My only company was hopelessness and fear. I'd wondered if everyone else was right and that I might be crazy. Now I began to fear that I was going crazy in that isolated cell, waiting, knowing when and where and how I was to die, and knowing I was helpless to do anything about it. And one night, I woke in a cold sweat, thinking of a name that might mean a last faint chance for salvation.
Mr. Sam Ferris.
Ferris?
Yeah, he says he has an appointment to see you, Joe.
Oh, yeah, Sam Ferris. Almost forgot.
Here you are, Mr. Ferris. Make yourself at home.
Thank you, Sergeant. I prefer larger quarters.
I didn't really think you'd come, Mr. Ferris. I wondered if you even got my letter or read it.
Oh, I read it all right, but before committing myself, I had to review your case. Sergeant, would you kindly excuse us?
Oh, sure. Pardon me, Mr. Ferris. Take your time. Now, call out if you need anything. Maybe you'd like some coffee?
No, just some privacy.
Oh, right, Mr. Ferris. You got it.
Here, Mr. Ferris, you want to sit down?
Why not?
First off, Mr. Ferris...
Sam.
I gotta say first that I'm innocent. Believe I'm innocent. Like I said in my letter, I couldn't have killed that girl. I've never been in Jonathan's Grove. Never heard of that girl or seen her before. You gotta believe me now. Say you believe me. Do that or it's off. No talk, no nothing. Forget it.
No, just cool down, Joe. Just cool down. Now, how did you get on to me?
I dreamed about you. I read a magazine story about you once, and I remembered in my sleep here. The lawyer of last resort. The man who goes to bat for the little guy who's been written off and doesn't have the chance of a moth in a blizzard. You've pulled off miracles in the courts. I figured you could pull off the biggest miracle of all time and help me.
Well, no miracles, Joe. It's just evidence, facts, and the right of every man to equal defense before the law. And I have never taken the case of a man who smelled guilty.
You mean it? You figure me innocent?
Well, I am here, Joe.
You give me a chance?
Oh, the prosecution has, Joe. Now, one look at the prosecution's case, and it is so full of holes you could use it for a fishnet.
You mean it?
Easy, Joe. You have been running in the rain too long. It's time to just dry off and just sit tight. I am going to do a complete rundown on your case, those so-called witnesses, especially that gal, Helen Travis.
Sam, where you been? I thought maybe something...
Well, I've been losing sleep, Joe, losing sleep. But that DA is going to lose a lot more.
How's my case look now?
What case? There just never was a case.
So how come they figure they could kill me?
No defense, Joe. No lawyer. Now, first off, they put most of their eggs in Helen Travis eyewitness testimony, and nothing is so undependable and so unreliable in a court of law as an eyewitness. Any 10 eyewitnesses will give you 10 different versions of the same event, and nothing is easier to break down and discredit than an eyewitness. Now, what about the boyfriend she was parked with who was supposed to have seen you commit the murder most foul?
That's right. Where was he?
Well, it wasn't easy finding him. I saw Helen Travis. Now, she couldn't remember just which guy she was with. Now, one guy she named denied being with her at all, and the other joker said he hadn't seen anything because the night was pitch black. Now, I checked the Weather Bureau, and sure enough, at night the sky was black with clouds. No stars, as Travis said. No bright moonlight, no moon at all, so... That's why they didn't bring in the boyfriend to testify.
So they couldn't have seen me. Couldn't have seen anything. I knew she was lying. Or crazy.
Or drunk. Probably all three. And even if it had been a moonlit night, she couldn't have told your car was blue, because no one can distinguish at night any difference between green, blue, black, purple. Now, for Sharp, bartender.
Yeah. What was his bag?
Well, I saw him. He says he'd never testified definitely that he saw you leave the bar after the Logan girl.
Now he isn't sure of the exact time you left. He says he never was, never said he was. And it's the same with the Logan girl. And he says he never saw you with her at the bar, so much for Sharp. And now for the physical evidence.
Yeah, the mud on my coat and hat.
Mm-hmm. That could have been picked up anywhere in the area. Now, I am talking about withheld evidence. You see, I checked at the headquarters. There were sneaker footprints all around the girl's body. And that foot that made them was patently larger than yours. Evidence never presented in court. And the crime lab had blood and hair samples, but didn't begin testing until the weekend before the hearing. And by then, the original samples were too old to be properly tested. Now, the DA knew the sophisticated laboratory analysis might prove that the blood and hair belonged to someone else, so just forget it. And there's other evidence, all proving one thing, Joe. You have been a victim of gross injustice.
No argument there, Sam.
Well, I took my findings directly to Judge Winters. Now, he read the statements and had them verified. He declared the Travis woman unworthy of belief. And he said the DA and all those responsible for your persecution are guilty of criminal negligence of a high order. So, you're a free man, Joe. Come on. I'll buy you a drink.
So there, on the razor's edge between life and death, I found salvation. How many other innocents have been unjustly condemned? No one knows. I only know that I could be dead and buried in a dishonorable grave for a crime I could never have committed. I only know that eternal vigilance is still the price of liberty. My story, as it appeared in the Morning Sun News, ended there. It was a sensation story. It also paid me $4,000. But there is more. Much more that I didn't tell. The story I share with one other person, Miss Helen Travis. I used to stop off at Al's Diner, where Helen had the early part of the night shift, waiting tables. Business slacked off after 11. I'd hang around. Helen would join me in a booth for coffee. Helen was about my age, bored, bitter. We were there in Al's Diner Monday night. The Monday after Dorothy Logan was murdered.
Refill, Joe?
Thanks, Helen. And how was your evening?
A Texan was in here. So wealthy he didn't even know he had 4 kids in college. Or so he said. It hurt, but I laughed, and he tipped me $25. What about you, Joe?
No.
Has the little man got any more big pipe dreams?
Well, we can still rob a bank.
Yeah, you can get yourself killed doing that.
You know a better way?
Joe. No, I'm tired out.
So am I.
Tired waiting for nothing to happen.
Gotta make it happen.
Tired reaching for the sky and getting it right in the teeth. I'm tired hating myself because I'm a bust. I just want to accept myself and live with it.
We're not cut out to be gracious losers, honey. Gracious winners have more fun.
Pipe dreams. We're over the hill, Joe. It's finished.
Maybe only the astronauts can have the moon, but we can shoot at it. We ought to make it a good ride anyway.
Even if it's all downhill?
No, everybody's on the toboggan ride.
You're a funny cat. All hot air, but I like to listen to you yak. You almost make me believe all over again in the big Buffola.
They're out there grabbing it every day, Helen. Why not us?
I just feel burned out.
Oh.
Wasted, like an old rack at the thrift shop. Like that girl that was murdered Saturday night.
Oh, another one?
Don't you read the paper?
Oh, who needs more bad news?
Here, it's all over the front page.
Girl hung around at the Shamrock Bar, Dorothy Logan. Just a kid into the city looking for, Lord knows what. One of our dreams, the brass ring you're always yakking about. So what did she get? Murdered. In the mud. Squashed like a bug. Wasted. Only difference between her and me is it's taken me longer. That girl, that night, Joe, gives me the creeps.
Oh, why the creeps? It happens every night.
Not right in front of your eyes.
What?
I was there where it happened, when it happened. I was so bored Saturday night, I took a ride with an old boyfriend. If you saw him, you'd know how really bored I was. Anyway, he parked in Jonathan's Grove. That girl was killed a few yards away. I know the spot. At about the same time we was there.
But you didn't see or hear anything?
Oh, no.
Yes, you did, Helen. You saw and heard it all.
No, it was dark.
No, it wasn't dark. You saw it, honey. You saw the killer's car. You remember the license plate, and you know the killer.
I do?
Yeah. You're looking at him.
Hey, you sure could have fooled me. I figured your limit was pulling wings off butterflies.
No. I mean, that's what you're going to phone up the cops right now and tell them. You're going to describe me, my car, give them the license plate, and tell them you saw me murder Dorothy Logan.
Hey, sorry, Joe, but you're gone. Gone round the hill.
Just gave me the idea. The big one, Helen. The first and last big one of our life, honey. Because if they're big enough, one is all you'll ever need. Now listen. And do what I tell you. And all you have to do is stick to your story. And when it's over, we cash in. Helen, and don't say anything. Just listen. We have to be careful about seeing or talking with one another for a while. It's called collusion. I'm sending you some money and a plane ticket to Acapulco. I've set up reservations for us at the Hacienda del Lobo. I'll see you there next Saturday night.
Joe, you wouldn't kid me.
I never did. Haven't we got more walking around money than we ever had in the bank?
Boy, it was a nightmare. I wouldn't go through that again for the key to Fort Knox.
Who needs Fort Knox?
What happened?
Sam Ferris and I sued the city, charged that I was subjected to false arrest, unlawful imprisonment, illegal search and seizure, malicious persecution, loss of job, damaged reputation, cruel and unusual punishment, mental torture, and you name it.
What does all that add up to?
$2 million, honey. And the golden bacon. Hey, you okay?
I feel dizzy.
That's not dizzy, Helen. That's flying. Here, drink this. You look a lot younger, especially when you smile.
You know, Joe, when I first saw you flaked out in Al's Diner, I figured you had about as much life in you as a window dummy and weren't nearly as handsome.
I've changed.
You're beautiful, Joe Thompson. Just beautiful.
It's wholesome and American for a criminal to want to rise in the world, to want to get on to bigger, if not always better things. However, I hope this success story doesn't inspire you to do likewise. I'm not even sure to what degree our hero is a criminal. If so, he managed to carry out a crime that was somehow rendered legal by the illegality of the law. I shall return shortly. Money. In large quantities, it is frequently appealing. For this very reason, long sentences have been designed for grand larceny. Money persists in being a problem. They say it isn't everything, that it's the root of all evil. then there are those who consider it eminently worthwhile, or who at least feel that they deserve the chance to decide for themselves, whatever the risk. I should like to look in on Joe and Helen Thompson one day, and perhaps find out if it was worth the cost. Our cast included John Lithgow, Russell Horton, Terry Keane, and Earl Hammond. The entire production was under the direction of Hyman Brown.